Welcome to the NCO Journal, the official magazine of Non-Commissioned Officer Professional Development. I'm your host, Staff Sergeant Timothy Hughes. Let's get down to Sergeant's business.
Poland!
The U.S. Army Reserve component has a big impact on the readiness of the active Army component. It's larger than the Marine Corps as a whole. If you combine the Air Force, Navy Reserve, and Marine Corps Reserve, the Army Reserve component will engulf all three with its numbers. Its outgoing Senior Enlisted Advisor, Command Sergeant Major Luther Thomas Jr., visited with senior non-commissioned officers attending the Sergeant's Major course in the Sergeant's Major Academy at Fort Bliss, Texas, to shed some light on just how big of an impact the Reserves has on the active Army component's mission.
The Army Reserve is part of the total force, and we provide life-saving and life-sustaining capabilities. An overwhelming share of the medical capabilities for the Army reside in the Army Reserve. An overwhelming share of the logistics and the quartermaster capabilities reside in the Army Reserve. So there's several capabilities that are very important for the Army that they could not sustain themselves at all or very long without the Army Reserve.
Thomas is slated to take over as the Senior Enlisted Advisor to the Assistant Secretary of Defense for Manpower and Reserve Affairs next month. The 3rd Infantry Regiment, commonly known as the Old Guard, is rich with history. It's earned its world-renowned reputation by upholding military traditions and most recognizably serving as the guards at the Tomb of the Unknowns. There are various opportunities for soldiers to serve with the regiment. Duties range from horseback riding and playing in the Fife and Drum Corps to being a part of the Presidential Salute Battery or serving as a member of the Commander-in-Chief's Guard. Visit our website to learn how you can be a part of history and get an inside look at what it takes to serve with the Old Guard. Now, let's talk about NCO history. This month, in 1989, U.S. forces initiated Operation Just Cause in Panama. The operation involved 21 American military units working in dense urban terrain. They used overwhelming firepower to oust Panamanian dictator General Manuel Noriega after his Panamanian Defense Force killed a U.S. Marine. U.S. forces took 8 hours to neutralize the PDF, and after 2 days, their role changed from come back to peacekeeping operations. 23 U.S. service members and 300 Panamanian civilians died during the offensive. Those numbers could have been higher if not for the work of then Staff Sergeant Antonio Bonilla, a military intelligence NCO. Bonilla spent most of his days in Panama prior to the operation. He was credited for using his in-depth knowledge of the Panamanian culture, Noriega's movements, and the PDF's infrastructure to aid the U.S. forces in the attack and to convince the PDF commanders to surrender. He convinced them to serve their country by living to see its rebirth instead of dying needlessly. Bonilla was inducted into the Military Intelligence Corps Hall of Fame earlier this year. Operations in desert environments have been the norm for service members since 9/11. As soldiers adapted to the hot and dry demands of the desert, training in wet woodland environments became a lesser priority. In 2011, President Barack Obama announced that the Asia-Pacific region would be a top priority and reaffirmed that the United States is a Pacific power, and we are here to stay.
There is no region in the world that we consider more vital than the Asia-Pacific region, and we want on a whole range of issues to be working with our partner countries around the Pacific Rim in order to enhance job growth, economic growth, prosperity, and security for all of us.
2 years after Obama's announcement, the 25th Infantry Regiment at the Jungle Operations Training Center at Oahu, Hawaii, has led the way in teaching soldiers how to fight and survive in the demanding jungle environments. Over a 12-day period, soldiers are taught basic tasks such as how to tie a variety of knots, how to track people in the jungle, and how to rig a communications antenna made out of sticks and spoons found in MREs. The course is not limited to soldiers. The Navy, Air Force, and Marines often send their service members to the world-class training. That's it for our show. Thanks for watching. For more information on these stories, click on the links in the description below. We'll see you next time right here at the NCO Show.